Hi, this is session 13 of RPG Edge course for beginners. In this session, we will see to allow access to more than one endpoint based on access token along with its associated scope. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe our channel and turn on bell icon. This will help and motivate me to come up with more videos frequently. Alright, in our previous video session, we have discussed to allow access to the endpoints based on access token and scope associated to the token. This is continuation to our previous video session. So please watch it before proceeding with this session in case if you haven't watched our previous video session. Okay, without any further delay, let's get started. In this session, we would like to allow access to all of these three endpoints when the request is made from the user whose scope is admin. So let's implement that. Let's flip to Google Chrome browser and log in into RPG Edge UI. So once login, click API proxies under develop tab, which will populate all the available API proxies which we have created already. So here if you could see API proxy demo is the API proxy which we have been using in our course so far. So let's use the same API proxy in this session as well. So let's click on it and navigate to develop tab. So default proxy endpoint is the endpoint which we have been using from the previous video session. So here if you could see admin scope user can access the endpoint which has the path slash JSON, and other than this, if we have any other endpoint, then admin user will not be able to access it. So let's confirm that in a moment. So let's try to generate access token with grant type as client credentials and for the scope admin. Again, if you are new to generating access tokens, we have made videos in generating access token based on client credentials grant type and password grant type. So I would recommend you to watch our previous sessions to get familiar with generating access tokens. All right, so let's try to generate an access token using client credentials grant type for the scope admin. All right, now we have created and we have got the access token from Edge, and now let's try to invoke this endpoint with this access token and let's see what we get. So if you could see slash XML, so to this endpoint admin user doesn't have access to allow this endpoint. So let's try to give the request and see what we get from the Edge. Look at that, it says request scopes, so that makes sense, right? All right, in the same way, let's try to invoke this endpoint as well. So I'm just trying to give slash user in the endpoint. So again, it says required scopes. So as of now, I'm user not able to access these two endpoints. On the other hand, you will be able to access this endpoint. Look at that, we are getting successful response from the Edge. All right, now how can we make admin user to be able to access these two endpoints? Okay, so let's navigate to this what policy, which is verifying for customer and guest. So here if you could see, this policy will get passed only when the access token is coming from the user whose scope is customer. Now we would like to allow this endpoint for admin user as well. That is, when the access token is coming from the user whose scope is either customer or admin, we would like to allow the access to the respective endpoint. So as of now, it is allowing for customer and we'll have to allow for admin as well. So in order to do that, let's provide the admin scope as well here. So let's give a space and provide admin scope. Similarly, we will have to provide in the guest policy as well. So now what this policy will do is, when the access token is coming from the user whose scope is either guest or admin, this will allow the request to consume the respective endpoint. So with these changes, let's try to save this as new revision. Our new revision is saved. So let's deploy our new revision in the test environment. Alright, it is deployed now. Now let's try to invoke that endpoint. So /JSON is the endpoint which has already access to this, and now let's try to invoke /XML and /user endpoints. Let's give the request and see whether we are able to get the response. Here we go, we are able to get. Similarly, let's try to access the another endpoint which is /user. Let's click send and see. Here we go, we are able to get the response. Okay, in case if customer user or guest user tries to access admin endpoint, then they will not be able to they will not be able to consume the endpoint still. So let's see that in action. So let's try to invoke the endpoint which is allowed only to admin user, that is /JSON. So let's try to generate access token for the scope customer. We have got the access token with client credentials grant type for the scope customer, and now with the customer access token, let's try to invoke the endpoint which is allowed only to the admin user, and let's see whether we are able to get the response. We should get error. Here we go. Similarly, if the user whose scope is guest, and if the user tries to access this endpoint, still the user should get the error. Let's also verify that. So let's try to generate access token with guest scope and get the access token. Let's copy the access token and let's try to provide that access token here as a authorization header, and let's try to invoke the endpoint which is allowed only to the admin user and see whether we are able to get the response. See, we are getting error, so which makes sense. So on the other hand, if admin user tries to access all these three endpoints, then he will be able to consume the endpoint. So let's verify once again. Let's try to create access token for scope admin, and let's copy the access token of the user whose scope is admin. Let's try to provide it here, and this is admin's endpoint, so he's able to invoke the endpoint, and let's try to invoke /user. Still is able to invoke it, and also let's try to invoke /xml, and whether C is able to get the response back. Here we go, we are able to get the response back. This is how we'll be able to allow access to multiple endpoints. That's it in this video. I hope you like this video. If so, please hit the like button and please do not forget to subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Happy learning.